Hey, Janine Bolin here with you today, and it's Authorpreneurs HQ, and we are prepping for the Authorpreneurial Summit. And with me today, I have James Hipkin, who is from Innately and the Red 8 and all kinds of other wonderful things like 6 seconds or less. I mean, the man is just a content genius and is able to build out sites and landing pages that work. And so I'm very excited to be able to produce some of the work that he has been doing in the back office, so to speak, for this conference to help authors. So James, thanks so much for being here and chat with us a little bit about what you do.
Hey, Janine, it's great to be here. I'm really looking forward to sharing some information and some knowledge with the authors and the conference. And it's going to be a high energy, high value event for everybody involved.
Yep. And so one of the things that is wonderful is James and I have been going back and forth about how can we strip down a website so that it's truly at its most basic elements and yet still does all the things an author wants it to do. So if you find yourself to be just now starting on your book, you want to definitely pay attention. And even if you're a multi-book author, you still want to pay attention because James has some stuff loaded up for us. And one of the pages that we're going to be talking about is the homepage. Everybody kind of gets confused on what to do with the homepage. So if you don't mind, James, go ahead and pull it up. And this is just a mock-up, one of the many templates that's going to be made available. But this is where the money really hits the road for you if you have Google ads and that sort of thing that you're running with your book. So what have we got here?
Exactly. Yeah, the thing to keep in mind with the homepage is the majority of the traffic that gets to any small business website, and authors are not an exception here, is based on referral. You know, they hear about you, they hear about your book, they hear a reference, they hear you speaking, they hear you in a networking event. However, they've heard about your book, they'll go to the website to check it out. So they're looking for confirmation that this is something that will support their journey, that will support the challenges that they're facing. So the key thing for the homepage is to recognize that this isn't about you, it's about them. It's about the audience and who the audience is coming. This example that I've got on my screen right now is for an author who's targeting a feminine audience around, some of the softer things around mindset and challenges involved in midlife crisis. And it's looking at, very natural settings. You'll see a lot of images of landscapes and backgrounds and peaceful. So you want to lead, obviously you've got a book, you want to put the author, the dust jacket of your book right up there in the homepage. That accomplishes a number of things. One of the most important is if this is what they're looking for, instantaneously they recognize that they are in the right place.
And I think that's hang on just a minute, James. One of the things that is very common is you want your audience to know they are in the right place. And James and I have talked about this ad nauseum, so that's why he's moving on to point 2. But I just wanted to let you know, what is the problem that your book solves if you're a nonfiction author? And then what is the problem that one of your primary characters solves if you are a fictional author? And that is why James has put up there, what's the problem to be solved? Because that's where you highlight that aspect of it for yourself. Okay, go ahead, James. Second point.
Exactly. And if you lead with the problem to be solved, you're engaging with the audience because that's what they're looking for. If you're just stating what there's already in their mind, they're going to go, yeah, that's it. And that will draw them in. You also want to have, a section immediately below this. Why should they believe you? Why are you worth their time? So, and that can be done very quickly and very efficiently with a simple row of, recognizable logos. If you appear in the press somewhere on networks or, reviews and things like that, this purpose of this is just to give them reasons to believe that your offer, your proposition is legitimate. And then give them the pathway. Show them where they can go next. Invite them down the pathway to a more detailed solution. And everybody's audience usually has 2 or 3 sub-segments. So you use these pathways to call out these sub-segments, because when somebody has selected one of these pathways, 2 very important and very profound things have happened. They've told you exactly who they are, and they've given you permission to give them more information. And by virtue of that, if you've got a course that you're selling, or a program, or some other way that you're monetizing your presence in your book, these pathways are an excellent way to accomplish that. And then it takes them to a pathway landing page where you know who you're talking to, so you know what to talk about, and they want to hear it.
Thank you so much, James. I know you have more to go, but this is just a little teaser. This is just a little taste. You can go ahead and stop sharing your screen now. I'd like people to be able to see you. But one of the things is that's just one page. We haven't gone through the 3 primary pages that a author can have. And what I love about James is he appeals to the analytical scientist in me. He has data to back up what he's talking about. He's done hundreds of websites. So this isn't just some fly-by-night guy that's building out this stuff for us. Thank you so much for the templates that you're going to be presenting for us. And just to let you know, James also looked over the website chapter of my book, Publish Profitability, the Author's Guide, which will be made available after the summit. He looked it over and gave me some suggestions that I will be incorporating into that book chapter. Any last little tidbit you want to give us before we go?
I think the last thing I try to leave with folks, because I recognize how overwhelming all of this can be. It's a simple thing and it makes people smile, but don't try to boil the ocean. I just pick a few things that matter and do them as well as you possibly can. And when you've done them well, figure out how to do them better. There are so many choices that it can become overwhelming very quickly. But the reality is, you just need to do a few things better than everyone else, and you will rise above the rest.
Thank you very much. I love how concise you are, and that just brings a calmness to the topic that can be very overwhelming for a lot of people. And so listen to James at our summit, and we will be recording that for those of you who wish to have access. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you, James.